Hello and welcome to another episode of Rule Zero. Today it is called Kill Your Idols, and we are going to be talking about just that. Why you should, well, not literally, of course, but why you should kill your idols, why you should destroy the posers, ignore the posers, and why you should be your own hero and not have somebody else being a hero for you. So on the panel today, got some very fine gentlemen as always. So let's just go around quickly and say hello. We may get joined by some others later. So we've got John Fitch. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm doing good, feeling good.
Good stuff.
Beautiful Saturday here in California.
Awesome. Good to see you, man. We've got Ryan Stone.
What's going on, buddy?
What's going on,
nothing. Man? Doug Ford cried on camera. That's about my highlight of my week. So
nice. Fantastic. And we got Mr. Rich Cooper in the house. How are you?
What's up, hosers?
Excellent. So look, I mean, we might get some of the other guys. I think Rollo's coming in. We might get some of the other guys along in a bit. I think John will be popping in as well. But yeah, fundamentally, I wanted to talk about this because if people haven't noticed this, we are currently in the midst of a pandemic. And the pandemic is guys simping, but not even guys simping for women. It's actually guys simping for other guys. And
for leadership.
This exactly. And this show is the vaccine. All right. This show is the vaccine going direct into your nutsack to combat this horrendous pandemic, this terrible virus of simping. Because what I've been seeing recently, right, and this is in our little space or adjacent space, but also you see this in politics, you see this in all walks of life, is basically
everywhere.
Exactly. It's basically people want to buy into a leader, don't they? That's pretty established. We all kind of know that. Not all of us. Many of us are more independent than that, but a lot of us want to buy into a leader. But what I've been seeing recently is that when these people, these leader figures, get exposed or get shown to actually be very flawed, and in some cases, like effectively clowns, when these people get exposed and the reality starts to come out and you start to realize, well, hang on a minute, actually, this dude is not who I thought it was. You would think then, sensibly, that the guys following him would say, do you know what? I made a mistake. This guy, I thought this guy was legit. I can now see that's not the case. So, I'm going to now distance myself. And some people do that. But what we're seeing a lot of is guys actually doubling down. We saw this earlier in the year with the dude who stormed the Capitol, and we've seen it recently in our circle. But you get this with politicians. You got it with Trump. You got it with Boris Johnson. Probably going to get it with Biden as well. Because people are so stuck in their thinking that rather than admit, hang on a minute, actually, maybe I was wrong about this guy. Maybe I was wrong about this hero that I put up on a pedestal. Instead, they just go, no, I was right. And it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what comes out. I'm just going to double down now because, well, why? That's the question, I guess, for the panel. I mean, why do people operate like this, and what should they do about it?
I think a lot of the problem is we have a issue of fatherlessness in the West right now. So there's a lot of lessons not taught to people as they're growing up in childhood. So they end up growing up with daddy issues, and they keep looking and craving for that leadership, that father figure they never had. And they end up putting all of their belief and love and whatever into a false figure because he said one or two nice things.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because on the other hand, there's nothing wrong with admiring somebody. There's nothing wrong with looking up to somebody and getting, good advice from them, right?
As people learn from each other. It's a human thing to, I see a guy using a tool. Oh shit, that's cool. That makes his life easier. I'm going to copy that and use that tool. Somewhere along the lines, though, I think developmentally something has been broken because I see it with my kids, and I study this in child psychology when back in school a long time ago. Was kids when they're little, they'll watch the Power Rangers or whatever, and they're like, I'm the red Power Ranger, I'm the blue Power Ranger. Like they'll pick an identity and become that identity.
Yeah.
And as they get older, and you're supposed to be as like a teenager, you're supposed to start taking like, well, you know what? The red Power Ranger throws a really nice spinning back kick, and the blue Power Ranger throws a really nice overhand right. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do both of those things. So you start taking apart like the things that they're really good at, and then you start to become your own person. But we have a vacuum of leadership and fathers in this country or in the West today, and they don't go through that stage. They just get into the ideology and they stick with that. And you have 30-year-old man-childs who worship someone like it's their father.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And welcome to the godfather of the Manosphere himself, Mr. Rollo Tomasi. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Welcome. Come to me, my children.
And of course,
cult leader himself. Yes. Why
exactly.
Not? Go.
Well, somebody said. Somebody
like this. Roll with this.
Somebody was saying in the chat earlier, "Oh, Rollo hasn't designed the thumbnail for this one. Is that because he's offended by the subject matter?" Because but there is a point here, isn't there? Because we are all, you know, brand of me type people, or we're all putting ourselves out there, and we're offering our take on life, our advice to some extent, or at least our reflection of this is how we see things. So I suppose people criticizing this would say, well, hang on a minute, you guys are criticizing something that you're all doing. But where does it tip into dangerous territory when guys become so obsessed with these figures online and in politics and stuff?
Don't you love how they have to blame us for that? You guys are personalities. Like, dude, we're not the reason that people are standing for people irrationally. I think it's dad syndrome. Same reason. Everybody built up their god so they could break him down. Jordan Peterson was my dad. And then Jordan Peterson got hooked on drugs, and now Jordan Peterson's an asshole. Yeah, it's like that weird. And I don't want to get all biblical here, and I know Rollo's talked about it on his fourth book, but you remember back in the day when before there was like the Jesus thing, they would like look at this sheep and they'd bitch about all their problems, they'd blame it on the sheep, then they'd kill the sheep, then they'd go back to their lives. It almost seems like that mentality, where they just need somebody to burn at the cross, so that way it's not my fault, it's the sheep's fault. And
yeah.
Does anybody else notice that the bar seems to be set awfully low? Like, guys look up to really low barred males. And I wonder if that's something to do with what John was talking about, with the lack of fatherlessness and the lack of masculinity with, you know, boys growing up. So they
vacuum.
Yeah, like a vacuum. So they don't have like a high bar to be set. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I mean, I set up, you know, I'd look at millionaires and billionaires and entrepreneurs and, you know, like cool guys on TV with you know, that were like icons of masculinity. And today it's like, you know, some fat guy with a pear-shaped body that says he's awesome. Everybody goes, oh yeah, that guy's awesome. That guy's the best. Let's all support that. It's like, come on, man. I mean, you know, set the bar a little higher. Have some dignity and some self-respect.
But it's the cognitive dissonance, isn't it? Because these guys would simp for this guy, even if it was proved that he had murdered Jesus or something, right? Or he had, you know, like whatever.
Like guy, but
pretty
let's
much.
be clear, like the Mano Swamp, and I put out a video about an hour ago on my channel, is a swamp, right? It's not just one guy. There's a lot of guys. In my estimation, at least half of them, garbage. At least half.
Yeah.
You're being generous. Being very generous.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe
even 2/3.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I called this back, and you know, it's funny, as I on my other show on what was it, last Sunday, I think, I mentioned that I was probably going to, I might still do this. I'm still debating whether I actually, you know what, screw it. I will do this. I put out a video at a certain fucked up convention that happened back in 2018, and I did a State of the Manosphere address back then, and I pretty much called it accurately everything in that. What I said was what I was predicting. I did a SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats or whatever. And pretty much everything in that video, I called. We're here. Here we are. Some of it sooner and some of it later, but we're all here. And everything that I said about how the biggest threat to the Manosphere was people coming into it, seeing it as sort of a niche market or a brand of me kind of thing. I mean, that's what this is. And it's OnlyFans for dudes. That's what this ends up being. Seriously, it's like I think I'm going to be I don't want to work in my fucked up corporate cubicle job anymore. So I'm going to just decide I'm going to be a dating expert. I'm going to be a fitness expert. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. on whatever that means, right? I'm going to be a success porn guru. I'm going to be whatever. Who cares? It doesn't, like, make up whatever the hell you want, because you're whoever you say you are when you first come into this. And you know what? Makes no difference, because exactly what Ryan was just saying a second ago is they're looking for the dad they never had. And if you scold them from the word go, and you're like the drill sergeant, and you're the guy who's actually gives them a purpose and gives them a direction, it doesn't matter what the direction is. Makes no difference. It could be positive, negative, makes no difference. You're a bitch. That's what you are. Sorry to say, sorry to jump on that one, but like, you're leaving these guys with an emotional impression, and that emotional impression that they, it's just like you trying to game a girl right on the street. It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. You just got to leave them with an emotional high or an emotional low. So either they hate you and they start throwing rocks at you, or they love you and they become one of your like acolytes, right? They become one of your adherents, and they go and they do the work for you. That's exactly what Robert Greene said in 48 Laws of Power. And I hate to say it, but it's true. OnlyFans for dudes. And you know what? It's harder. It's for guys, it's still work, right? Girls just have to show their asses and they can make money. Here you go. Like I was reading this, maybe you guys saw this. It's been passed around on Twitter. This guy, I guess in Japan, had like 35 girlfriends, and he told each one of these girlfriends that his birthday was like a day after the next. So he was getting like all this free stuff for his birthday from 35. That dude had to hustle. That guy had to like make those girls believe that it was his birthday and he cared about each one of them, and they were giving him treats every for 35 days out of the year or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, girls get close. I know guys who've given small fortunes to girls on OnlyFans they didn't have to do anything. The guy's just there and ready to believe. He's ready made, ready. He's pussy whipped. He's pre-whipped before he even gets onto OnlyFans, before he even gets there. And so that's the thing that gets me right now is like, it's this mechanism, right? And I'm saying, as Rich was saying, like half of them are grifters, half of them are like charlatans, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I think it's probably a little bit more than that. I'm not saying that there aren't guys who get into this for sincere, genuine, reasons, or maybe it's sort of like a natural progression from what they were doing into what they're doing now. I understand that, and you're not gonna let that go. You can't ignore that. You're not gonna leave money on the table right there, especially if you can help guys or you think you're helping guys. And you certainly can't go back to your corporate gig because nobody's gonna hire you. Who's gonna hire Roosh? Who's gonna hire any of these other schmucks? Who? They can't stop. That's it. Can't stop, won't stop. No, can't stop, can't stop. You can't stop. Because once you're there, what are they going to do? They're going to look you up and say, well, what have you been doing for the last, 7 or 8 years? Oh, I've been
only 9s and 10s, bro.
Only 9s and 10s, yeah, exactly. I've only been in the, the self-help, whatever you name the niche for the last 7 years.
Living on a mountain, finding God.
You're not, exactly. Roosh isn't going to go work in the private sector again. I mean, God, and I'm using him as the most easiest example, but like one of these guys who said, you know what, making this kind of money from the comfort of my own home is a whole lot better than working a 9 to 5, going to a cubicle, working for probably a female supervisor, and making that commute every morning. Whether or not they don't want to go back to that. So, of course, anytime you attack them, anytime you are critical of what it is that they're saying or whatever they're talking about, it's not an attack on just what they're saying. It's an attack on them and their livelihood, because they are their own brand. Everyone's their own fucking brand right now.
Yeah. But why is this, in you guys' opinions, why is this so bad for men? Because, as I say, there's nothing wrong with admiring people, right? There's nothing wrong with saying that person, I like what he's got to say, I like what he puts out.
We all do it.
Fine. Yep. But then it goes into overdrive, doesn't it? And people,
I can tell you why. There used to be gatekeepers that would police who was able to publish a book, who was able to broadcast to the world on screen, and those gatekeepers were removed. And that was a good thing, to some degree. James Altucher talked about that a lot in many of the books that he self-published, and why he did it and why that's such a good thing. But at the same time, because there's nobody policing and there's no gatekeepers that stop somebody from uploading videos, from publishing books, complete trash can get put out there. And guys don't have the best information nowadays anymore, right? I mean, Rollo started this conversation about how we live in a female first primary social order.
Yep.
And why that is and where that's going. And now we have an entire generation of men today who have set the bar so low that some bozo who's obviously a fraud, and I'm not saying like a bozo, I'm talking several bozos out there who are obvious frauds, have completely duped a large segment of the male population. And I have a question for you guys that have been duped by these douchebags. How's that working out for you? Have you become wealthier, right? Have you been doing better with women? Are you living in a nicer house? Do you drive better cars? Do you take more vacations? Do you have the ability to maneuver? Can you tell people to go pound sand when you feel like it?
Well, it's
Or
like
are you
asking a
the cog
kid who's
of
his
the wheel?
favorite Avenger.
Yeah.
This is a good point.
But
Fair enough.
I'd like to know how many of those guys actually have the insight to ask themselves that in the first place, because most people don't. It's like there was a psychological study when I was in school, right? There was a psychological study that we were looking at one time, and it was they had purposely set up this class. It was like a tutorial kind of thing. So people who were getting like D's and F's in like history or some course, they could go to this class, this tutorial thing. They had to show up for like an hour or two every week. But the tutorial was designed so that they would not do any better in the class, and they would still have like a D or an F at the end of the semester, and then they would poll these people and say, "Do you think it was worth your while to have gone to this tutorial? Did it increase your grade?" And every last one of them said, "Yeah, it was totally worth it. It was time well spent." No one wants to think that money they spend and the time that they spend and that whatever they invest into, like say a course or whatever it is a waste of time, because then because it's an attack on the ego, because they think that, oh, I'm the kind of person who gets duped. Nobody wants to think that. Everybody when they get on board with whatever their guru is or whoever it is that they admire, me, you, anybody, I don't care who it is. I hope to God the people who follow me or read my books go, yeah, I'm a better person for having read this. I assessed my situation before, and here's where I am now after. I don't think a vast majority of guys do that whatsoever. And if they do, of course they go, yeah, it was great. I'm glad I did this, even though they lost, all kinds of money on it, or they lost all kinds of time on it. And they're no further along than they were before they started reading your book, before they started taking your courses, whatever, or watching your channel, whatever the fuck it is. It makes no difference, because most of the time, most guys, they're not going to admit defeat. They don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm the kind of guy who wastes his time on this shit.
Yeah. And it does seem like we're at a point now where facts just don't matter, or when things come out and
Emotionalism.
it's emotionalism. It's pretty much, I mean, I have a problem with expose videos as well, because obviously a lot of the time expose videos are very rarely impartial, aren't they? That's the reality. An expose video, people who make expose videos will say, I'm doing this because guys deserve to know the truth. But it's not really true, because they're actually doing it ultimately to say, that dude's an idiot, don't buy his stuff, buy my stuff. So there's always an angle on expose videos. But nevertheless, when facts come out and they're verifiable and you can see, okay, clearly this person is not perhaps what I thought he was before. Yeah. Why is it that guys double down? We were talking about this on private chat, actually, in relation
ego
to
investment. It's the same reason why guys double down with their crappy marriages and try to defend their shitty relationship with their abusive wife, right? Or their abusive girlfriend. Exact same reason. It's just the ego investment in that.
Yeah, I think it is that, isn't it? I mean, also as well, right? I think it's partly to do with online trolling, online wars, arguing with people. Again, it's all about emotion, isn't it? And you just want to be on a certain team. It's like you want to be Team Trump or you want to be Team Biden. And it doesn't really matter what either one of those figures actually does. It doesn't.
Sporting events.
It doesn't matter what their policies are, really. Whatever your guy does is amazing, and whatever the other guy does is shit. And there's nothing in between. So have we just lost this ability for rational debate, or to even really discuss reality anymore?
I don't think so.
In the last 10 years, I think in the last 10 years, there's been a decrease in people watching sports and an increase in people getting into the politics, into this them versus us situation, because everybody's into it. It's in everybody's dating app. It's in everybody's fucking profile. They put their fucking pronouns and shit. Everybody, it's out there because they want to fucking, that's the thing. This is my team. Let's go team. 10, 15 years ago, it might have been, you had the Raiders or the Bears or whatever the fuck in your profile. Now it's your pronouns. It's just, it's just.
We've always operated in an us versus them sort of environment, though, haven't we? I mean, that's like one of the things that Jack Donovan writes about a lot and, hints to in follow-ups is that, it's always been us versus them. And, the globalist agenda that tries to unify everybody is never going to happen. That's why when you see these guys are like, oh, we have to unify the Mano Swamp. It's like, dude, it's not happening.
It's never going to happen.
How do how do you unify autism, at that level, right? And I don't know. It's just
everybody can be chill. Like I think everybody can just be chill, because you can argue, because there's people in this manosphere, whatever, that you just disagree with. You don't agree with their philosophies, or you think some of the stuff that they say is just dangerous. Some of the stuff Pat Stedman might say, you think it's just dangerous to tell a young man that these things will happen and you can look forward to a happy marriage or whatever in today's age. And it's fine to disagree with those people, but it's silly, these takedown videos, and there's so much effort going into just destroy a person's credibility off of silly things rather than what they're actually saying.
What's that lyric that you use, Rolo? Something along the lines of the amount of work that's needed to dispel bullshit is like,
it's an order of magnitude greater to dispel bullshit than it is to create bullshit, more or less. I saw that actually at a talk one time.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like it especially now, like you guys were just saying a minute ago, because we have such easy access to platforms like that no one had before. Again, something I wrote about in book 4 here is that the guys who were the losers in high school, who actually had to get hammered flat and actually find something within themselves to like build themselves up and become something more. I mean, you got a guy like Bill, I hate to use the example, but like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, guys who were just even Elon Musk, guys who were just hammered flat by life and girls and everything else. And they're like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to beat the odds. I'm going to come back and I'm going to kick ass. And now nerds are cool, right? Like everybody loves a Marvel movie. I can remember when playing D&D or watching or like reading comic books. You're a virgin nerd. It wasn't incel, right? You're a virgin nerd. You're never going to get laid if you keep, reading these comic books. You screw off, that kind of stuff. Now it's like the number one, fiction that there is right now is Marvel, and it's all a Disney bottom out, for crying out loud. Star Wars, all that other stuff. Now Star Wars is cool. Being a nerd is cool. Being a geek is cool. But you never would have had the geek in the first place if that guy wasn't a loser to begin with. And the reason why you didn't even care about them or know about them is because they didn't have platforms to mouth off. They didn't have any, they had no, like, what was it? Well, they always say, you wouldn't say that in real life. If you wouldn't say that to my face, then why would you tell me online? Well, the reason for that is because there's no repercussions. You could do whatever the hell you want on any platform right now. You don't even need this nice setup in this studio. All you need is a cell phone and maybe one of those little tripods you buy at Walmart. That's all you need. And the whole world. And you know what? You can have 500,000 subs on YouTube overnight because you said, screw Rich Cooper, man, that beard, fuck that guy. That's all you have to say. And sub.
Yeah, that's true. Aaron Clary films with a potato.
And we welcome to the stream. We welcome to the stream John MLD, who is the leader, the supreme leader of the Hot Dude Army, and he is here to tell us why cults are a bad thing.
Yeah. So what are we mad about this week?
No, we're just talking about why guys double down when people are shown to be idiots, when people are shown to be charlatans, and et cetera. Why is it that these dudes out there, rather than saying, okay, fine, I made a mistake, do you know what? I don't follow that dude anymore. Some people do, but a lot of guys, we're seeing loads and loads of guys in comment sections who are like, no, he's brilliant. It doesn't matter if he did this. It doesn't matter if he killed his mum. He's still great. And they just double down on it. So why does that happen?
Because really? like people are just you have to realize like people are stupid and people are dumber now more than ever, especially with all like the endocrine system disruptors in our atmosphere, BPAs, heavy metals, all this crap in our environment. Humans are the biggest, fattest, dumbest people we've ever been in the history of our race. And so, it just really shows you that. I mean, look at everything. Look at the financial system. Look at fiat currency. Look at the debt system, right? Look at the stock market, right? Look at people are buying Dogecoin and think this is a good idea, right? I mean, people are just dumb. I think to get upset about this is like to get upset about gravity because the majority of people are stupid. The majority of the majority of men are simps. The majority of men are beta males. The majority of people in America, literally the majority of people in America are obese and or overweight. So there's a moron born every second and they're going to do what morons do, which is make bad decisions. So here's the deal. I really don't give a fuck. I'm just going to keep on doing what I do. I have real life receipts. As you can see, like I'm just getting better over the years. And most importantly, you don't judge any of us here by our content. You judge us by the men who follow our content and get results. You think Rolo's photoshopping these fake 5-star reviews and people saying, hey, I didn't kill myself because I read your book. You think Rolo's just like, oh, I'm really gonna Photoshop this one good today. You think Rich is putting up fake reviews for his book, The Unplugged Alpha? You think all the guys who are becoming millionaires and getting amazing sex life in my community are just making this stuff up? The proof's in the pudding, but even some of the people watching us now are complete morons. And that's just a fact of life. And that's what we deal here with on Rule Zero. We deal with the red pill. We deal with the truth of reality. And if you can't handle it, I mean, go hang out with women. They like to go deny reality as well. But if you accept what we say and you apply the principles that we teach, we have the most balanced group ever. There's nobody better than us because number one, the most important thing is we don't simp out to women like, oh, we just need more women on this panel. We need more diversity on this panel, blah, blah, blah. No, we live in a crazy place called reality. And a lot of people just don't want to live here with us, but it is what it is. The winners are going to win. The losers are going to lose. That's capitalism for you. Deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I mean, when does it become dangerous for guys? Because as I've been saying through the show, there is a place for admiring people. I mean, there's a lot of people I really love their content. I've learned a lot from all of you guys on this panel. I've learned a lot from other people as well. And that's fine. But there has to be a limit, right? There has to be a limit where somebody crosses some sort of line, whatever it is, and you're not still there simping for them. You're not still there in the comments, like banging on like how great this person is. When they
I just want to make a quick point. Just after my little speech there's somebody in the chat defending Dogecoin right now. I rest my case. I'm done for the evening. I'm just gonna sit here and make fun of Aaron Clary for the rest of the broadcast. Go ahead, get me off the main screen.
I think what's important is, and it's part of fatherlessness. Nobody's there to teach people how to take what's useful and how to leave what's not. And with like something like mixed martial arts, it should be an example to where you take pieces of the best techniques from different disciplines and put them together and make something yourself that's awesome. That's a analogy of like what you're supposed to do with your life. You need to take bits and pieces of other people, what they're saying, the truths that they have, and put those things together in order to create yourself. But there's no one to teach that anymore. That should have come from your father.
Yeah, it just baffles me, really. I mean, because surely everyone in this sort of space, everyone's banging on about masculinity and, I am the apex alpha, I am this, I am that. But surely, and you can debate what that really means, how that's constituted, but surely one of the fundamental things must be that you don't willingly put yourself subordinate to another dude. I mean, you can have an alliance with other dudes, which is kind of what we do here, and that's great.
You need coaches, you need mentors.
Yeah.
You do need to find somebody who's more skilled than you. When I was a white belt, it was easy for me to find upper belts to work with and learn from. But as you get to a certain level, you may be the best jiu-jitsu guy, the best guy in your gym. So you may need to travel and find people on your level. You may need to find other black belts. You may need to find somebody who's a third degree black belt in order to get higher levels of training.
It's also more obvious too with that for John, because if you have a white belt and you want to become better, the guy with the black belt's obviously better than you, right? He's done the work. He got the belt because he did whatever he needed to do to acquire it. But there's a lot of fraudulent activity that goes on today where guys pose. I dedicated a Before the Train Wreck. If you guys haven't seen it on my channel, it's I think two weeks back. Just watch the one on posers. But there's a lot of posers out there that will try to manufacture, hey, I have a black belt without actually having it. They just took a white belt with a black Sharpie and they painted it black, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But your program says that if I take your course and in half an hour, I'll be a black belt immediately. Where is it? Give me the cheat codes, man. How come I can't have this right now? You're a fraud if you're telling me I have to actually do something. How are you representing yourself? Give me the cheat codes, man.
Yeah. Well, that leads to another question then. So how can guys tell if someone's authentic and legit or not? Because for me, I think genuinely, I think my judgment is pretty good. I haven't let myself down many times with seeing a content creator or a public figure and thinking that dude is legit. So to me, it mystifies me a bit when guys seem to go so far off track. And of course, the big word that everyone has these days is receipts, because these dudes are all like, oh, let's see the receipts. Okay, I've got to see the receipts, blah, 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 blah. And, I get that. There's a place for that. But the problem is that we're in an environment where receipts can very easily be faked, or receipts can be presented, but the receipt isn't really saying what the person is claiming it says. So putting receipts aside, I mean, can you learn to be able to know who to trust, or is it just a thing that's natural to people?
Well, why don't you use your example of receipts, right? Like if somebody comes along and says, hey, I've got 100 receipts, 1,000 receipts, 2,000 receipts. Look at my stack of receipts. All you're looking at is a stack of paper, right?
Yeah.
But do they actually have the products that were purchased with the receipts? They have something to show for it, right? I got $500,000 worth of supercars in my garage. I've shown them to you. They're paid for in cash. I don't rent them. or they're rented or something like that. Like, who cares about these purported claims that people have, right? Do they like? John Fitch is clearly an MMA professional fighter. Look at his fucking ears. Like, how could you not tell this man is fought? Like, why would anybody want to pick a fight with John Fitch? You'd have to be a fucking idiot, right? They should be obvious to you. But then again, you have these frauds that'll go put something like a Raptor grill on a basic 2.7 Ford F-150 and call themselves cool, right? That's what they do. That's their receipt.
Let me add this to you, Troy, for how do you tell? Like, let's say you're hiring a lawyer. How do you know your lawyer's any good? Like, staying out of prison would be a nice indicator.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean, though? Like, there's what's the outcome? Who cares how nice a person he is? And as far as receipts, here's why I'm going to use female dating coaches and blow your fucking mind. Let's say some chick tells you, follow my system. I can get you 100 notch count in a year. And she shows you exactly what she did to get 100 notch count. Is that going to do you a lick of goddamn good? You're going to get guys going into the bar. Like, I'm going to go into the bar and act drunk and then just ask him if we can go back to his place, and it works. And turns out they'll sleep with no women over the year. But the chick's got receipts. She's got 100 dicks in her. So I don't think receipts is a good argument either.
What's the obsession with notch count?
Well, I get it. Like, you don't want to be insecure that hers is higher. But the guys who obsess over it kind of miss the forest for the trees. That's the whole point, is not being insecure, knowing that your girl got dick before you showed up. But I mean,
is that really what you should be chasing? Like, is that like the bar that you want to set for your life?
Do you mean for dating coaches? Why?
No, Rich is talking about notch count for men. Ryan was thinking it's for women.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're talking about, guys here that are like purporting that they're awesome because of their notch count, for example. Like, who cares? Like,
their argument.
You have at least one Bitcoin. Do you have 10 Bitcoin?
Well,
you have
I
a nice
suppose
car? Have you paid off your house? Are you mortgage free? You know, have you forgotten about your notch count because it doesn't matter anymore?
Yeah.
Hey, if you haven't eaten in a month, all you can think about is that sandwich. I think that's the notch count.
That's probably it.
Exactly.
Well,
You
I
care
suppose
about
if
the
you're-
notch count when you don't have notches.
I suppose if you're teaching dating, you're teaching guys specifically. You're teaching guys. Okay, I have a system. I can show you how to meet girls and have sex with them.
But shouldn't the
Then-
system be not getting screwed over and actually having a
like
good
being
experience?
Yeah, no, 100%. But I guess their argument will be, well, look, I've done it X number of times, so therefore I'm really good at it because I've got, this number under my belt. So therefore I can teach it really well. I think personally, I think that that's false logic, to be honest. I just don't think that that's really, it doesn't really compute. I mean, yeah, of course, it would be absurd to have a dude who was a virgin trying to
That's
teach
like
it.
that's like a guy that I knew when I used to ride motorcycles, and he put something like 40,000 miles on this sport bike, but see, when you ride sport bikes, I don't know if you guys know this, but the tire's obviously curved, and the more you lean the bike over in the corner, the more you wear down the side of the tire. So what we used to do when we'd get together,
Oh, you're talking about chicken strips.
yeah, so so we get together at coffee shops, and some guy would pull in his brand new Ducati, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, and I've been riding this thing for 20, 30, 40,000 miles. I love it, blah blah blah." And you'd go look at his tires, and there was no wear on the side of the tires because he didn't know how to hang the bike, how to actually throw it around a corner with your knee like millimeters off the ground, sort of thing. They didn't have that skill. Like he wasn't able to do a wheelie properly, without having an accident, or he was always at the back of the pack. So it doesn't matter if you've got 40,000 kilometers on your bike. If you haven't done anything with it beyond just putting 40,000 kilometers on it, who cares, right? Like you're bragging about nothing.
Yeah.
I think it is an indicator of skill, but it can be so easily fabricated if all you're saying is, "Oh, I've been with this many chicks. I've been with this many chicks. I've been with this many chicks." Here's a real truth that we all want you guys to learn here is this. We want you to learn how to do good with women so you can move on in your life and do something else. That's why I always say make money, make muscles, learn game, okay? I'm 35 years old, okay? Still relatively young in the game, young in Asia. Maybe some people in America think I'm old, but I've built myself up. I've mastered that part of my life, dating and all this stuff. And now I'm mastering physical fitness, and now I'm mastering my finances. I don't wake up and go to a job for anybody. I don't have the employee mindset, and I'm working towards the investor mindset next. And I surround myself around guys on this panel, right, who follow the same path as I have. Who have followed the path that I want to be on, and they already have walked the walk. They've talked the talk. You see, what a lot of guys don't realize because they're so sexually starved is chasing women is a negative ROI. And eventually, if you keep chasing women your whole life, you're going to wake up, you're going to be 45, you're going to be broke, you're going to be a loser, you're going to have no money, you're going to have no freedom, and you have about 15 years left in front of you that you can really work. And then you just have to basically, then it's basically waiting till you die, right? To be very red pill about the whole situation. But so many guys idolize chasing pussy. Like for me, I don't really care if a guy gets pussy. Like I'm not impressed, right? I'm not impressed by that at all. But it should be a standard. But it also, ultimately, you should learn this skill, put it in your tool belt, and then continue to develop yourself as a man. That's what I believe.
Yeah. But one thing I would say, and I've sort of referred to this a few times in posts and videos and things. One of the people that I learned the most about in terms of game, in terms of dating, was actually Royce of Chateau Heartiste. And that guy, obviously you guys know, no Rollo knows, that guy was a blogger. There were, I don't know if he ever put his photo out. I know there have been photos of him, but I think he was doxxed. There are certainly no infields. I've never seen any. I've never seen any receipts, and yet reading that guy's stuff because it was so incisive and it really got to the heart of the matter. That really, really helped me. Literally, it really, really helped me to advance my own dating life.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
it's funny to me is like the guys who are always asking for receipts and all this other crap is like, first of all, what's a receipt? Tell me what a receipt is, and then let's go from there. Because 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, well, you got to have, what's your end count? What's your notch count? Okay, is that the metric we're going to use? Because if that's the metric you're going to use, you need to go talk to a PUA. You need to go talk to somebody who's actually doing this kind of, you need to go talk to John, right? You need to go talk to Troy or whoever else. But if like, what is your metric? What would be an improvement to you? And that's what I was asking Rich in the beginning here, is like, you got these guys who never have the insight to say, have I advanced? Am I now a green belt instead of a white belt, right? Am I now a blue belt instead of a green belt? Where am I at along the way? Because usually they get caught up in this kind of team mentality, like John Fitch was talking about just a minute ago. It's this tribalism. Human beings are innately tribalistic. That's part of the way that our mental firmware, our evolved mental firmware is. Sorry, there's no getting around it. One of the issues I firmly disagree with when it comes to like Jordan Peterson and even God Sod is that tribalism isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that's part of the mechanics. So we're always going to deal with team sports. We're always going to deal with, my guy's better than your Superman can beat up Tarzan. That's you're always going to have that debate. But what is the metric? Right. I was talking, I got all on my high horse a couple of shows ago where it's like, I've got almost 20 years of receipts. If by receipts you mean how many, I got 4 books. That's 4 receipts right there, right? I've been doing this since before there was a YouTube. I've been doing this since before there was, there wasn't even blogs. I mean, we went from like alt fast seduction to So Suave, and for almost 8 or 9 years, all I was doing was writing about this stuff and contemplating this and keeping notes and doing all this other stuff. So is that a receipt? Okay, well, if that's a receipt, great. We keep going from there. I have a blog. I've got a blog that's been around for 10 years this August, right? So is that a receipt? Okay, well, then I guess I've got about 20 years of fucking receipts. Thank you very much, right? Oh, well, what's your notch count? 40. Is that okay? Because when I say I've got 40, 43, somewhere around there, in my sexual history or whatever, is that a receipt? Well, if I'm on the Pat Campbell show, I'm a man whore. If I go on John's show and everybody's got 300 plus lays, then I'm next to a virgin, right? Because I've only got 40. So I guess I screwed up on the receipts right there. What is your metric for success? Where do you want to be? And I keep pounding this home at the end of every show right now. What do you want? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be right now? Because I've got guys who will come on like I did that show for the V Pro, the Dutch documentary. I did a show where I said, hey guys, call in. I felt real bad about it, like call in and give me props kind of thing. Like, is your life better because you have listened to me or read my books and whatever? And I had people still want. I did 90 minutes, and I probably could have gone on for 4 hours. And I've got. Guys, I got an essay called The Safety Net, I think it was. I've got over 1,000 guys commenting on that saying, like, you saved my life. I was going to kill myself, blah, blah, blah. I had a date. I was scheduling my own suicide, and I stopped because I read your book. Is that a receipt? Is that a receipt? Can I please have that? Is that what's going to make me a better dude than you or whoever else your next team guy is going to be? Because if not, I'm probably not the guy for you. You need to go talk to somebody else or whoever it is that you think is going to be your team sport, your coach, right? Whoever your fucking coach is.
The ultimate receipt is getting arrested.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
That's the other thing too. Like the amount of guys in the Mana Swamp with a criminal record, multiple criminal records, is off the chart.
Oh man, it's funny.
I got popped for shoplifting at 14. Sorry, my bad.
Dude, I've never even seen the back of a cop car. I don't even know what it looks like.
I just think this whole debate
Alpha
about
Rich. I had a SWAT team come after me. I'm not kidding.
I've driven more cop cars than I've rode in the back of.
I just think this whole debate about receipts is in some way missing the point a little bit, because people will come at Rollo and they will say, ridiculous things like, yeah, but when was the last time he pulled a 10 in a bar, man? I haven't seen any videos or nothing. And it's like, he's a fucking writer, right? He's a fucking writer. He writes books. He's somebody who analyzes social interactions through and now they'll say, oh, he's just, like talking up to Rollo, blah, 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 whatever. But that's the reality, isn't it? And people have different skill sets, right? So somebody can be very, very perceptive, and they can be great at teaching. They can be great at pulling out the lessons from the experiences that they've had. And putting it out there and inspiring people and entertaining people and making people understand things. That in itself is a skill, and not everyone has that. And it's often said, and this is probably correct, that the really top players, the really top chads, they're not on streams like this. They're not making videos. They're out there. Well, okay, fine. That might be true. But are those guys any good at actually articulating it? Probably not. Most of the dudes that I know outside of this space who are, really good players. I've got a mate who I'm actually renting his place at the moment. He's genuine, like sort of Chad guy, pulled many, many women, real natural with women. Could he teach it? Fuck no. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like I just find the whole receipts thing to be sort of debasing the discourse around this somewhat.
The person asking for receipts, though, how many of those guys are like swimming in poon or on their way to? You know what I mean? No, here's what I'm
they
getting
just
at
want to live vicariously through.
There's what I'm
here's a man who's swimming in receipts. He hasn't even got a chair in his office. He's just sitting on his receipts. It's Paul from Apex Mindset. How are you, mate?
Living good.
Yeah, guys just want Viagra. It's really no.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
feeling okay? You wearing a collared shirt today? What's wrong?
I know. I got to go to some social event later, right after dude party. In fact, so I didn't have time to change. But I had sex today, guys. Does that mean that I'm have receipts? I had a woman today, guys. Look at me. Rollo, you save people from suicide? Big deal, bro. I had a girl touch my pee-pee. Yeah. You want to see a photo of it? I'll Snapchat it out to everybody. Anyway, the receipts thing is absolutely it's an arms race for bullshit. That's what it is. It's like, this guy had a picture with this girl. Let me get a picture with 2 hot girls. Meanwhile, or 3 or whatever. And meanwhile, they're you don't know what's going on. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Troy, you've been in this game for a while in the pickup industry. A lot of these guys will hire girls for certain things, like not you, but like people out there will hire girls for infields, hire girls for advertising purposes and for promoting their stuff and for demonstration. And some of that stuff, like you have to hire a girl for a demo. Like I'm sure girls that linked up with Sterling for sex courses and stuff got paid something or got something out of it. No big deal. That's not a problem. It's just that it's this idea that, look, I can be around a pretty girl who smells nice. So that must mean that my product is good and that makes me cool. Look, my receipts are the results that my clients get. We talked about this yesterday, actually, Troy, on my show. Like, so let's say I can go out and pull a girl because of how I look or whatever, how I act or something. Does that mean I can teach a guy with, let's say, some limitations, maybe a stutter or some anxiety issues, how to overcome that stuff and get good women in his life? Does that mean I can teach the guy who chose to get married and isn't interested on PUAing and going out and day gaming at malls during the day and just kind of wants to get his wife to, to be happy with him and to have a good relationship with her? Like, does that, can I help that guy out, get what he wants, or get his paradigm changed about the sexual marketplace? The guy's on the verge of suicide because he feels completely worthless and he's failing in every aspect of his life. Can we pull that guy out of the gutter? These are the things that matter, not whether or not I have hot girls around me. Yeah, I'm really reluctant even to show that stuff. That's another part is I don't know what kind of degenerate circles some of these dudes hang out in, but like, I don't want to dox the girls I'm hanging out with. Like, what?
Yes.
Well,
that's a really important point. And I just, while you were speaking, Paul, I was just conscious that the whole conversation we're having now, it might sound like we're all just trying to justify, oh, I haven't got any receipts and that's great. That's not what we're saying, okay? Because I believe, as somebody who teaches dating and so on, I believe that infields actually are very valuable. And they're valuable. They're valued, or they can be. And sure, like you say, they can be faked as well. But in general, watching somebody actually doing it, going and talking to a girl and sparking attraction and having a good vibe with her and everything, that is very valuable as a teaching aid, because that shows you basically what you do, and it shows it live. And that's why I have them. I have a product Renegade Dating in Field, which has a bunch of them on there, which is available. I'll stick the link in the description. I've also got another one coming out. I'm editing at the moment with a whole bunch more of them on there. So that's why I have those. But because it just demonstrates the skill set. But I think what Paul is saying is a very good point. I'm damned if I'm going to show pictures of my girlfriend or my ex-girlfriend, people that I've actually been close to in my life on bloody social media for a bunch of swamp-dwelling idiots to slag them off.
They'll find those pictures.
Well, they found some bird that I met a decade ago or something like that, and they're claiming she was my
Every
girlfriend.
guy in this panel has fucked an ugly girl. Don't fucking deny it.
Yes.
College,
but this whole thing of this whole thing of because other people do this as well, like James Tusk. My friend James Tusk, who's a very good day game instructor, he posts loads of infields, great, but he doesn't actually post pictures of the girl that he's actually with, or certainly not facial pictures anyway, because he's not a dirtbag. Do you know what I mean? Like basically, I mean, it's like, yes, show the skill set, because what are we meant to be doing here? We're meant to be teaching guys, this is what you do, this is how you walk up, this is the body language, etc. But there is a line when it comes to, okay, well, am I going to actually show pictures of somebody that I've got a real relationship with in real life? And we'll sod that,
Well, it's the focus. Are you focused on the people you're trying to help, or are you focused on trying to be cool on the internet? Right. I mean, I think that's the whole thing is killing your idols here. If your idol is someone who's trying to be a cool internet person, then you're picking the wrong person. You can tell when somebody's putting material out and when someone's trying to help guys out, when they're focused on the material, when they're focused on the guys are trying to help, when they're focused on, actually having quality stuff out there for guys to improve their lives on. You can tell that difference.
Put out 1,000 blog posts, put out 1,000 videos with top shelf content that really helps guys level up and get thousands. And I'm not even talking I'm talking tens of thousands of emails and DMs and love notes from these guys that have leveled up. That's what receipts are.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I got to run, guys. This has been a great show. Chase excellence, not women. Co-sign everything Troy just said. Have an awesome show. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
See you tomorrow, Rich.
See you soon, man.
Man, he's going to be doing 150 kilometers an hour in a second here, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is.
God damn it.
That motherfucker.
So what I've gotten from what everybody said is that it's not that receipts aren't important. It's the type of receipts.
Yeah.
And what value you put in those receipts. Like, what are you really looking for in this person? Like, is that really something to value? Is, oh man, this guy could have sex with lots of women. Well, is that the receipt you're looking for? Like,
yeah, because John, the problem is these guys are starving. They have no sexual, women don't even look in their general direction, and that's why this is like they have eroticized this to an extent, because even watching guys get girls stimulates their mind because it's such a foreign action to them, and that's what the whole PUA thing. That's what it is, right? It's a bunch of guys who suck with women, seeking to get information and seeking to get skill with women, right? Another thing is this too.
What it is, pro revenge is what it ends up being.
And so another thing is this too. Like I said, I have a plethora of receipts, but I mean, Rolo's seen them. But if I were to put these on the YouTube, my channel would be banned because they're all.
They don't ban
Put
channels
them on Pornhub
anymore. Right. They don't ban channels.
start an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But
You have at least 100,000 subs before they even look at you.
Here's a receipt. There's a girl in bed with Happy, right? Oh no, it's photoshopped, right? It's from
Photoshopped. It's a transsexual. The dog,
it's a tranny. It's a tranny
the dog is a transsexual.
Hey, I actually brought this up. I think it was the last time I was on Fresh and Fit. We were talking about these guys who like saying, "Oh, where's the receipts? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, well, if you were a guy who was like, say you're just an average dude and you're still like, you're a virgin. And I know that there's probably going to be people who watch this, or there are guys who are like 25 years old, 30 years old. They're still virgins. They never kissed a girl. I get this all the time. I'll get an email. I'll get, some in my comments or whatever. I'm like, how do I do this? Where's the best book on game, Rolo? How do I learn game? What's this game thing? Because we are almost 20 years past Neil Strauss, right? We are 20 years past Mystery Method and all that good stuff, right? And so people still look at game as this sort of like enigmatic kind of thing. Like if I just learned this, then I would have the magical, cheat codes to get laid. But like what happens is guys will go and they'll go, okay, well, I read The Rational Male, or I followed John for a while. I took body language mastery. I did whatever. And you know what? It worked for me because I went from being like single and sexless, and I got a girlfriend where I finally got one. I got one notch count, right? And that's their success story, is one notch count. And they went from having no success to having at least some kind of success. Now, did those guys get a 9 or a 10? Probably not. Maybe they got a 5 or a 6 or whatever, like whatever your floating scale happens to be. But they went from something, from nothing, from 0 to something, to a 5, right? Or they didn't go from 0 to 10. They went from 0 to 5. Right. And so what is success, right? Is a better receipt 110, or is it 10 5s, right? Well, what's the algorithm here? What accounts for, like, you went from you yourself, you're a 4 or a 5, you're just Quasimodo, whatever. You finally got with the beautiful girl who's an 8 or a 9 or a 10, right? And to you, that might be whatever it is. But you going from that to like 0 to hero, those stories are exceptionally rare. But the real stories are the guys who go from like being a 4 to getting a girl who's a 5 or a 6, and maybe consistently able to spin plates at that particular level. Is that a success? Is that a receipt? Because I don't know a single dude, and I said this on First Shot, I don't know a single guy who's a relationship expert, certainly not John, certainly not Troy, certainly not Tusk, certainly not any of these guys, who are going there and saying, follow my program and you will be guaranteed to get a 9 or a 10. Guaranteed. Just take this, follow these 12 steps and 12 steps to get to banging a 10. No one is doing that right now.
Yeah.
But this is the level of like autism, right? It's this the Asperger's. Well, I didn't get a 10, so he's not getting 10s. He said we could get 10s. No, you're not getting 10s because nobody's promised you that, man. You get so. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What pisses me off because when Fitch was talking about how these guys don't have like mentors, or they don't have dads, or they've never really had this social education, because that's what has to happen, right? If you want social skills, you have to be educated in the real fucking world, man. It's not behind a screen. It's not behind whatever size screen you happen to have. But that's how these guys are socialized. That's how they're acculturated right now. And you want to know where all this binary extreme comes from, because that's where these guys go. It's either on or it's off. It's hot or it's cold. It's either a win or it's a loss, right? It's not like, oh, I went from get from having nothing to getting a little bit of something, and now I'm going to keep going, right? It's not going from white belt to black belt. They don't want that because they think that white belt is one side, black belt is the other. Black, white, on, off, binary extremes. And if I'm not getting 10s, then you're a fraud. You're a charlatan. You said I would get those. No one has ever sold that program. To my knowledge, no one is still selling it.
The only people that would sell that program would be very, very scammy people who are probably
Right. Take my MMA course and become UFC champion.
Right.
In 1 year.
Yeah. But is that true though, John? I'm going to take your
30 minutes a day.
John,
I've certainly never said that, and I don't know. Like you say, I don't know anybody else in this space who said anything like that at all. Nobody I've worked with has said anything like that.
I specifically said, so you know what game is? Game is understanding, because this is the truth. This is what game is. Game is understanding female psychology and using that in understanding to create an atmosphere and environment that will increase the probability of a sexual outcome with consent from both parties.
Yeah.
That is what game is in its entirety. We never promise absolute results. Because if I could have absolute results, I'd be having sex right now. All right.
Paul is under the table.
But yeah, it's just that's what I'm saying, and that I think Rollo's so upset because this is his first time in the last couple of years actually interacting with fans.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a while, so we know what's going on. But
I mean, it's the Wild West, man. There's only the only justice is frontier justice right now.
Well, there's a couple
cares.
of
Nobody's coming to save you. No, and anybody can make up whatever the fuck they want. These guys talking, Roll Zero didn't do that. Fuck you. It's right there. If you want to
there's a couple of things about receipts, though. There's a couple of
Rule Zero receipts. Rule Zero.
We've
Receipts.
got the receipt. We've got the recording of the fucking of the event. But there's a couple of other things about receipts. The first thing is that, again, reality. Well, the quality of the receipt is very subjective, right? Because one man's receipts is another man's toilet paper, and I look at some of these receipts and I think, well, that just looks like a bunch of linebackers to me. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't touch any. I wouldn't touch any of them with pulls, let alone. Do you know what I mean? Want to bang them? So there's that. But secondly, results will vary. Okay, I could teach a guy, and yes, because looks matter. Yes. Looks do matter. If I teach a guy and he's really good looking and he's better looking than me and he's tall and whatever, then yes, for sure, that guy could probably get better receipts than me. So fine. Alternatively, if I teach a guy who is in some ways lower value, then the receipts that he gets may not be as good as the receipts that I have got. So again, it's sort of like what you want to be demonstrating with an infield, for example, is to say, this is what you do. This is the vibe. This is the kind of reactions you want to get. It's showing the skill set. But the thing about, okay, well, how hot are his girls is sort of like, because I put up a picture of my ex-girlfriend now, my actual genuine ex-girlfriend, right? I think she's really hot, and she is really hot. Objectively, she's really hot. I've had guys who've seen me in London. I've a couple of guys who actually seen me walking around in London, and they said, I booked a consultation with you because I saw you walking around with a really hot girl. So, that just putting that out there. But I bet you I won't even bet because it's just pointless. If I actually put up real pictures of her, there would be dudes going, "Oh, she's ugly, she's a tranny,
yeah, right.
she's there, blah blah blah." So reality doesn't really matter. And then I look at receipts from other people and I think, well, they're ugly, but then the guys are like, no, they're gorgeous. So whatever you put out there, people are going to slag it off if they don't like you, and they're going to say it's good if they do like you, and that's all it is. That's all it comes down to. Reality, objectivity, it doesn't matter.
Kind of reminds you of Karen's asking to speak to the manager, They demand, like a lot of audience members demand that you fit a certain idea of what they want in their content. To which I say, go fuck yourself. Yeah, but I mean, I get it because it works. So many people kowtow to these things. And it's not just the sphere either. It's not here. Like, great example that you guys see that Black Lives Matter story where like the 5 head people of it are like running on mansion buying sprees. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to talk about grifts? The fact that you're grifting in the manosphere, I don't care what your receipts look like. Yeah, you're not at that level.
Yeah. That is another level.
If you want to grift, get in a good grift. Start race hustling. Start politics hustling. Stop wasting your time talking about getting laid, because there's no money in this shit.
There's no money.
Yeah. If Rollo was for real, he would divorce his wife because then he would be what I want him to be.
Yeah, but the end point of this though is it's not. I was not put on this earth to be the surrogate father of a retard. And I refuse to coddle them that way. Yeah. If you don't like this content, fuck off, and that's fine.
And that's really my mindset too, man. Like if you don't, I know that the shit that I put out is I'm gonna float my own boat for a minute, but I know it's fucking fire, and that people get results from it. So like, if you don't want to benefit from that, then go fuck off somewhere. Like I really don't give a shit. I really don't care. That's just my mindset. And my thing is. I say, what are you saying?
I had to laugh because I'm always in this environment. Like I got the background going on usually. I mean, unless I'm with you guys or I'm somewhere else, but most of the time when I do shows, I'm in this background. I did the Fresh and Fit podcast and I was wearing I think my Punisher t-shirt, and people go, man, Rollo's been working out. It's like, dude, I've always been working out. You just don't see me in that. You don't see me from the waist down. You don't see me walking down the street going, I don't take off my shirt and pretend to be a fitness coach. That's not my thing, right? like I was gonna say before is that like if you want to, like I've been married for coming up on 25 years, right? People go, oh, he's disqualified. Forget that guy. You know, there's something wrong with him if he's been married that long. He's not out there in the clubs, right? Well, I am out there in the clubs because it's been my job to be so for the last 20 some odd years. Am I scamming girls every night? No, but I'm seeing this happen all the time. So it's like I don't feel like I have to qualify my 20 plus years of doing.
But fuck them, bro. You have 4 books that are so valuable. These motherfuckers don't want to get the value from it.
Haters can't help but quote my ideas. They can't help but lift my material this far in, right?
Exactly.
So, but if I go and I say, well, spin more plates, then the tradcons go, oh man, that Rolly, he really hates marriage. He's not going to help us save the West. He's not going to be part of our fraternity of manliness and you know, whatever order of the, you know, the White
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
so I catch shit from them. To them, I don't have any receipts because I'm here talking about how you should go pick up random hoes in a club, right? And just bang anything on 2 legs. And then I got the other guys going, well, Rollo's been married for almost 25 years. You shouldn't talk to him. He's got a successful marriage. He's been around, you know, he's got his daughter. He's got a great daughter who's in, you know, getting her master's and all this other stuff. They don't want to say, that's not a receipt to those guys. So I can't fucking win. So you know what? Fuck you. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, you get criticized.
No.
You get criticized for either way, don't you? I mean, I've been criticized for having a girlfriend. I've been criticized for not having a girlfriend. It's
Listen, that's the thing. When you put yourself out here on, like, you know, like for example, John Fitch, right? He was an MMA fighter, right? And John Fitch was never like one of those shit talking MMA fighters that was like, you know, go fuck yourself, fuck your mom, I'm gonna beat your ass. But there are people out there like, oh, fuck John Fitch, I hate that guy, I hate Purdue University. You know, like as long as you put yourself out there, you're gonna have people love you and you're gonna have people hate you. But you can't be mentally weak to the point that this affects you. I clearly do not give a proper fuck what anybody thinks about me. I do not. Okay. All of my response videos, all that stuff, it was all part of my plan to fucking get these idiots to drive more traffic to me. And thank you for being my unpaid marketing assistant.
There's your clip right there.
Thank you so much.
Take that to the bank, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being my unpaid marketing intern. Appreciate you.
Well,
it's almost like it's kayfabe, just theater. Enjoy the show.
just to move this in a slightly different direction for a second. I've got an article here from the Wine Mum's favorite psychological resource, Psychology Today, and this is. Let's just have a quick look at this. Hold on a second, because this talks about the. This is another one of these things about dangerous cult leaders, right? And what's interesting about this is that it lists out, there's quite a long list here, which I won't read all of it, but there's about 50, I'll put the link in the chat. There's about 50 different personality types that they talk
read them
about
all
here. Okay, all right. And the reason I think this is interesting is because I just wanted to move us on slightly to talking about, we've talked already about the fact there are no gatekeepers in this space and on the internet in general, right? And some people are definitely utilizing this stuff. Okay, and people perhaps don't recognize it, but let's have a look at a few of these. So, a dangerous personality. Number 1, he has a grandiose idea of who he is and what he can achieve. Number 2, he's fascinated with fantasies of unlimited success, power, or brilliance. Number 3, demands blind, unquestioned obedience. Well, we see that in this space a lot, don't we? You know, requires excessive admiration from followers and outsiders. Has a sense of entitlement, expecting to be treated as special at all times. Is exploitative of others by asking for their money or that of relatives, putting others at financial risk. Well, we've seen some of that recently. Is arrogant and haughty in his behavior or attitude, has an exaggerated sense of power, takes sexual advantage of members of his sect or cult. Well, I'm not sure about that, but it's,
you would have to have females in it to begin with.
Yeah. Sex is a requirement for the cult. Is hypersensitive to how he is seen or perceived by others. Publicly devalues others. This is a good one. Publicly devalues others as being inferior, incapable, or not worthy. Is that like doing a bunch of expose videos? Makes members confess their sins or faults. Publicly subjecting to ridicule or humiliation. Ignores the needs of others. Is boastful of accomplishments. needs to be the center of attention and does things to distract others, insists on having the best of everything, doesn't listen well to the needs of others, haughtiness, grandeur, etc. Perhaps I won't read
Sounds like a
all
lot
this.
of people's girlfriends.
Has magical answers or solutions to problems. Just follow these 6 steps. Refers to non-believers as the enemy. Has a certain coldness or aloofness about him, etc., etc. Right. So my thesis here is that there are quite a number of people with these traits in the sphere, and I think, to be fair, if you are putting out content and you're putting yourself front and center, probably many of us have this to some degree, but there are definitely pathological characters out there, right? And guys are getting suckered in by them, and this is exactly the same as what happens in a cult. So what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I think that's but I mean, I think that's exactly it though, and guys need to be very careful about who they decide to, I don't know, latch onto, I guess. And again, the best way to vet this out is if you're looking at somebody because you think they're so cool and they're putting out stuff that is designed to get you to think that they're awesome, like they're the product, be very leery of that stuff, versus somebody who's interested in helping you and trying to put out information that you can action. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing right there, because the internet allows for these dangerous personalities to have a platform and to start to dupe lots of people. Some of these guys who've gotten into it with certain pickup artists out there and certain people in the male help space that have gotten burned, that have gotten screwed over, or have just, it's sad. Like they were looking for a leader and looking for somebody to point them in the right direction. And unfortunately, their weak personalities caused them to latch onto some of these people. And I mean, there were cases where people were ended up in jail over stuff, right? For rape charges. There was like all kinds of stuff going on because people were following some dangerous personalities and doing things that weren't so good, and they allowed themselves to be led into the wrong direction. It's really sad. So I think that guys need to really look at what's happening and ask themselves, is this person that's teaching me interested in my success, or they're interested in, feeding their own narcissistic, bottomless egos.
And here's the thing, right? What a lot of guys, are the reason a lot of guys have trouble is because in this space, a lot of you have been feminized. You've been raised by a single mom. You've bought into the narrative of mainstream society. And here's the big deal. You know what you're going to have to do to find out if somebody's legit or not? You're going to have to buy their product. You're going to have to take risk, big boy. But no, a lot of you guys are fucking pussies. And you want the perfect path. You want the perfect plan. You're like an engineer. Everything must be perfect before I take action. And that's not how you get ahead in life. You get ahead by losing. Because when you lose, when you fail, you learn so much more than when you win. Winning is easy, okay? Like everybody right now trading crypto thinks they're so fucking smart because they're in the middle of a bull market. Everybody's making money right now. You ain't shit in cryptocurrency until you can make money in the bear market. And make big money too. Not, I made $50 this weekend. I'm a fucking alpha trader now. No, all right? But that's what we're having right now. A lot of dudes, they just don't want to fucking fail. They don't want to take risks. They're so afraid. And their inaction keeps them in this position of where they don't want to take any action. And therefore, you stay the same, okay? And quite frankly, I don't give a fuck if any of you like me or dislike me. Because at the end of the day, I get results from my clients, and I have thousands of clients, thousands of men getting results. And not like, a girl touched me in the bar. I'm talking like I fucked 5 girls in 5 days, and now I have 6-figure income at my job. Thank you so much, MLD. Those are the receipts that you really want to look for. But if you're a dirty, stinking, low IQ chimpanzee, and you just want to fucking chimp out in the comment section and be like, I just need to see receipts. Oh, he's standing there with the girl. Fucking God. Wow. And guys who really have game know that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. The bottom line is you want to see the real receipt, you got to watch the dude fucked the other girl. You got to see those kind of receipts in the bed with her. Okay. However, most people are just like, I can't hear what's out of somebody's playing music. But what I'm trying to say is that like the thing is with this whole receipts thing, right? It's a low hanging fruit. And look, you're gonna have to figure out who the guy is by actually booking with him, seeing if he gets you results, and are you happy with the outcome? Look at all of us here. Do we have any like scandal videos about us? Do we have any fucking lawsuits against us? Do we have any news reporting against us? Are people from our team going to prison for rape and et cetera like that? The answer is no. So if you can't put those two together, you're already fucked. And quite frankly, you deserve to burn. I'm done, Troy.
Yikes.
You're muted, Troy. You're muted.
Double
All right,
yikes.
over.
What the hell? Apparently I turned off that hit video thing way too early.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Oh,
That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
my redneck upbringing fucking flashbacks are happening right
I don't
now.
know,
I think
did
I
I-
have to leave.
Have I brought this up before? I was watching. Gosh, it was about a few months back. I was watching this doc. I don't know. It's kind of a documentary, but it's like an entertaining documentary. It's called what is it? Hitler's Inner Circle, I think it was. It wasn't really about Hitler. It was about the guys that like surrounded him, right? Like Himmler and the rest of these dudes. And I was fascinated by this because I was watching these guys and I'm going, each one of these dudes that is part of this inner circle that like essentially took over a nation and took over a world, these guys were LARPers. These guys were like spurgs. These guys were like, they were the socially inept guys. Like these were the guys that I'm seeing, like you give them a platform and now suddenly you get this cult of personality that develops around them. Now, when you look at it isolated in like 1930 or whenever, that's easy to see. But like right now, what we've done, like John was saying, is we've given these guys, these fatherless kids who are LARPing, a platform to do whatever the hell they want with no consequences whatsoever. They can make up any story they want. They can do whatever the hell that they want. And they draw a cult of personality, just like you're saying, Troy, when you're running down that list of qualities, it made me think of that documentary. I'm like, all the guys that were in that, who are part of that inner circle, the only thing they lacked was a platform, and they finally got that when like radio, like AM radio, became a big deal back in like Europe and what would become like Nazi Germany back then, so that they had that platform where they could constantly repeat this crap all the time. We're doing that in like little niches here and there all over the place on YouTube, on Twitter, on any form of social media. It's all about brand management, and it's all about like who's got the biggest personality, right? Those are the guys they're the influencers. We even call them influencers. That's a job title now, is influencer. So what is it that who's influencing who? Who's following who? The biggest personalities and the guys who are who follow all those characteristics that go down the cult leader thing. Those are the biggest freaking influencers on YouTube, on the internet, whatever social media you happen to follow.
Shameless sales.
Most people aren't capable, though, right, of making changes and doing better and getting to a better place and higher results. Whether it's willful.
It's easier just to follow somebody.
Right. So they want to be entertained. They want to live vicariously through other people. They want to latch onto personalities and, feel like they're a part of something. There's a lot of things that they want, but most people are not able to take a hard look in the mirror, realize their faults, and start making some real changes. And so for me, like, I would rather have 10,000 people that are interested in making real changes that are on my content and on your guys' content than 10 million people who aren't going to use the information I'm putting out and really just want to cause drama, have entertainment and do a bunch of waste of time bullshit and not get good results. So I'm interested. I don't care about market share. I'm interested in the people that want to get results, and I know that that's going to be enough people to drive me to continue to do content and continue to do things to help people out. These other guys I don't care about. I don't care if they put out a Spurg video and they get 20,000 views and my actionable content information like a couple thousand because I'm in the begin process of building a channel. I really don't give a shit. That 2,000 people that watched me, there's a higher percentage of those people that are going to get something better out of it than all 20,000 people who watched that Spurg video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had a good job that's paid off a majority of the mortgage. I don't need that much money anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's a big Punch and Judy show, isn't it? It's bread and circuses for the
Yes.
masses. All of this stuff
Yep.
is going on, and it's like
Red meat.
Red meat.
you know, and some of that stuff can. We're all human, right? Some of that stuff can be entertaining, but in the end, it's just a massive waste of time, and it's a massive distraction from what the actual purpose of all of this should be. And
one of the beauty, I think, of at least Rule Zero, in my opinion, anyways, it's like for people who don't know what this history is of us putting this whole thing together, it's like we pass this around to everybody's next week it'll be my channel, right? Whoever's channel, whoever's next up, they get it. We're not trying to monetize Rule Zero. We're here to have a conversation, and we want you guys to be a part of that as well, so that we can, so we can talk about things, so we can solve problems. Actually, wow, novel concept, right? But if I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say, hey guys, I'm going to do this video on what it's like to go through the divorce machine, would you believe me? Would you? If I said Royal Tomasi's going to make this great new video, or he's going to make this new program to teach you what to do while you're going through the divorce process, would you buy it from me? Probably not, because I've never done that. I don't have any experience in that, but I know a lot of guys who have. I would send you to Rich. I would send you to probably John Fitch as well. Right? Like, I know guys who would be better at that than me. So what do? I defer to those guys. People go, Rollo, who's the best guy to learn game from? There's this guy, Troy Francis. John from Modern Life Dating has body language mastery. Maybe James Tusk, right? Maybe Tom Torero. I don't know. I can give you names and send you in the right direction. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm going to go and be able to do that. I can teach you a lot of things about a lot of things. But if I feel like I'm not going to be the best for that, I'm not going to go try to build a grift around, my audience says they really want divorce videos. Oh, my audience says they really want to have a PUA, video, or an infield or whatever. I'm not going to do that. That's not me. That's not my brand. I would feel bad trying to pitch you on some. I can tell you basics from what I know from other people, but I'm not going to try to build a program around that. But that's me. That's not the rest of these guys. That's not guys who just coming into it. I got 20 years of receipts, right? But what do you want to know? What do you want to learn, right? Who's coming into this? I think the best way to vet your guru is to how long have they been doing what they've been doing? Were they like a men's style thing before? Were they a coach this? Were they a life coach? And they go, you know what? That relationship thing, or excuse me, that fitness thing, that niche wasn't working for me. So I'm gonna transition into another niche. Oh, I was a pickup artist. Guess what? Now I'm the prodigal son returneth, and now I want to be a religious guru. Right? What were they doing before, and how did they get into what they're doing? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. And how long have they been doing this? Most people don't do that because, like John was saying, it's this cult of personality. It's this team sport. Oh, he's saying the things that align and resonate with the way I feel at that moment, right? We have this generation of young men who were what was it? Oh, we raise our boys as if they're defective girls. Guess what? Now that generation is defective. Those men are defective women right now, and they interrelate like defective women, and they need indignation like defective women do. Only they get it in a different way. It's accountability this, or it's where's the receipts that, or whatever it is, whatever you're going through and would make you feel good at that particular time. Those are the guys that you gravitate towards. Who are they? What are they about? What are they saying? How long have they been doing this? Because 90% of these guys, this is just a grift. It's just a niche. It's whatever it was. I said this about MGTOW back in 2018. I said MGTOW is going to run into the same problem that the Red Pill did in 2015. And sure as shit it did, right? You got these guys who come into the sphere and they go, I'm MGTOW, I'm this, I'm that, whatever, whatever's trending, whatever hashtag is trending at that time in the men's sphere. That's what I'm this. And tomorrow, if it's MRA or it's black pill or it's I don't know, yellow pill, orange pill, that'll be the next thing that they throw on their profile so that they bump up in the algorithm, because it's their business to do this, not because they actually had some receipts or they had some real genuine interest in doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I think you've just got to look at the content as well. You've got to look at the content, and
they hate me for saying that, and I don't care.
Yeah. I think you've just got to look at the content and look at the quality of the content. And the stupid thing about this whole thing is that in this space, the way that everybody operates is everybody puts out a ton of free content, and so you can get an idea. Like Rollo has written a blog for years. He puts out videos, live streams. All of us on here, the model is we put out a bunch of free content, and then if you want to, if you're inclined to buy something, to buy a product or a course or whatever it is, then you could do that. But you don't have to. You could just watch all the free stuff and consume all the free stuff, and that would be it. So. And that it's rather disingenuously overlooked, I think, because I mean the way that I judge any content creator is I look at the stuff that they put out for free, and I think, well, is this any good, or is this just a sales pitch? If it's just a sales pitch, and you're sort of like winding up we all put in a little sales pitch at the end and say, "I'll buy my book" or whatever. But look at the quality. Is it any good? Is it teaching you something? Does it inspire you? Does it make you feel like, yes, I could go and do this? This is giving me something different. This is a fresh approach I could implement, right? I think it comes down to that, really. And then if you're comfortable with that person's free content, then, maybe buy a book, maybe buy a course, but you don't have to. Nobody's grabbing you by the neck. Just one other thing. There's also, like John, we said this privately this week, the internet is a really bloody big place. I mean, if you don't like my stuff, well, fine. Don't subscribe. Don't watch. Go and watch somebody else's. It's not a big deal. There's space for plenty of content creators out there, and for you to follow whoever you want to follow. But don't get suckered by clearly pathological characters who have nefarious intent. Sorry, John.
No, you're totally cool. Like what I was just gonna go back and say is like, again, like I'm literally in the month of April, I'm live streaming every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, literally every day for April, I'm live streaming. So, the other day this week, I did a 4.5 hour live stream, 4.5 hours in a row, doing a complete breakdown of the dating marketplace in 2021, right? So a lot of guys reached out to me, said that they found so much value in that, right? And there's always a small percentage of people that want to say bad things, they want to be critical. But like I said, it's funny is like when you finally see your haters, like when we found our filthy little dirty tomato farmer is a 54-year-old loser ex-felon who lives at home with his mother. Like you got to realize these people who are so vocal about hating us, they really don't hate us. They hate themselves. And it's a deep dive into their psychology. But like I said, that's just part of the game. I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, I don't give a fuck if anybody likes me, because I know that I'm running an honest operation. I'm getting real results for men. And guess what? If you don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. There's plenty of fucking participation trophies to go around.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, ultimately, anybody watching this, you can follow who you want. I mean, we're not saying you've got to follow us. You've got to take what we say as gospel. You've got, like you can do what the hell you want, right? But the important thing is to just try to have a bit of savvy, to try to be able to see when somebody is clearly a bloody scumbag grifter. And for me, like I say, ultimately, for me, I don't think it's that difficult, really. I don't think it's that difficult. But
I think
it is for some.
Don't have patience these days.
Yeah,
Everybody
John,
wants to
tell
rush into something. They find somebody who says one nice thing and they jump on the boat and, they think he's the new Jesus. Like, wade in the waters. Like, I followed all of you guys for over a year probably before, I got involved in doing shows or doing anything with you. I sit back and observe, because most people, when they're fuck ups, they let it out sooner or later. It happens.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't keep it under wraps for that long. It's something's gonna cut loose, and everybody's gonna see it again.
Mm-hmm. So true.
It's so fucking true. They like people like that. That's what I'm saying. We run a clean ship over here, and so like people can say whatever they want. But another thing is this: people think we're successful because we're like scamming people. But it's basic economics 101.
This is
money is a representation of value. You know why fucking thousands of men sign up for my course quarter after quarter after quarter? It's because they find value in the course. All right. You know why people buy Rollo's books for over the last, Jesus Christ, what's it been, 5 years, Rollo? Right? How long? When did you put out the first Rational Male?
First one was 2013.
So 8 years strong. Rolo's there in his basement, like scamming away. He's like, "Oh man, these Amazon reviews, like people are just, they're just falling for it left and right,
3,100 reviews now. I'm not sure.
Like what John Fitch said was so true. Eventually, the cat gets out the bag. Eventually, the chickens come home to roost. So again, look, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't care if you want to be part of this or not. We are still going to continue to run an ethical organization. Look at the other side of the party. Look who's been reduced to hanging out with the MGTOWs and the Black Pill guys and gets 4 live stream viewers per show after fallen from grace, having 1,000 plus, right? Look at my shit. I'm growing. Look at my studio. It's growing, right? People say this is a green screen behind me, which is hilarious, right? Look at all of us. Rolo's cameras are getting better. His studio is getting better. All of us are increasing the quality of our streams, So again, you're not going to stop us by just crying and hating. Even if you get all of our channels banned, we'll all just go to DLive and stream there because it's a censorship-free platform. You're not going to stop us. You're not going to win. And the fact is, even if you did stop us, when you turn off your computer, you're still a fucking loser. Period.
Well, here's the thing too, so actionable. Anybody who's like real confused out there, look for what I call as the narcissistic delusion. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you'll have is these guys who they think that their stuff is so amazing and so great that they can't figure out why they don't have all of the market share. Like they don't, in their minds, I don't have all the market share, but I'm so amazing and awesome. So there must be something that these other people who have more market share than me are doing that's sinister and bad. So let me go put out hit pieces and try to say that these guys are scammers, this and that and the other. Let me go after people who've literally done nothing of the kind in their own brand or business. Right? Like Rolo's sitting here putting out books and he's not attacking anybody. And then people are like, well, I'm going to attack this guy. Why would they do that? It's because they don't have the market share. They don't have the following, but in their narcissistic minds, they think that they should. So therefore, I'm just using you as an example, Rolo. Rolo must be doing something wrong. He must be scamming guys or running a cult. That kind of mindset is ridiculous, and that is delusional and psychotic. But that's what some of these guys have, and they have a space to promote their BS and put that stuff out there. Big difference between addressing one of those videos or outing a scammer that's a genuine scammer that's harmed people and having this narcissistic delusion. So me, right, for example, as I'm building my stuff up, I'm looking inward and saying, okay, how can I improve my delivery of what I have, improve my knowledge, and improve my marketing of what I have, using YouTube algorithms and stuff to get my voice out there. I don't look at somebody who has more followers and say, oh, well, he must have done something, you know what I mean, to have that because I'm so amazing. Why aren't they following me? That's delusional behavior. That's delusional thinking. So you guys need to look out for that and not be a part of that, those guys who do that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's really good practical advice there, actually, Paul.
Yeah, your hearts are too big.
It goes back to the mindset, right? If these people think everything we do is a scam, and Coach 5'6" Adams said, like, oh, Rich made all his money from scamming his community, right? It just shows you that you're fucking broke, you're poor, and you don't understand how money works. And therefore, you're so retarded in your belief system with money that you think the only way people can get money is by running a scam. Dude, it's 2021. Go and try and run a scam. You will be doxxed. You would be shut down from Stripe, PayPal. These companies have very, very, very strict internal regulations. But again, it's people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
John, let me ask you something, and we could throw this out the panel too. Do you think a guy like Coach Greg Adams knows enough
Coach 5'6" Adams
about Rick Cooper to accurately sum that up himself on his own? Do you think he goes, let me check into this and see about it. Do you think he did that? Or do you think that some little Asperger's syndrome, little Napoleon put that in his ear and he goes, well, it sounds worth repeating. Which of those two scenarios, what sounds the most likely?
when I
knew anything about Rich, that you would understand that is just completely ludicrous. So that only leaves one option, that you are parroting back something someone else told you, rather than having the critical thinking skills and the insight to go, is this really true? Let me go look that up. That right there should tell you something.
Or they're projecting. Who now all of a sudden, right, dropped the MGTOW thing and like try to act cool on Fresh and Fit podcast like he has game, and all he has is just laughable interaction with girls.
And that's not just to put CGA on blast. That's to put like a lot of other guys on blast, because they repeat the same shit. Like stuff that I know is outright fallacious, lying bullshit. And I go, no, it's bullshit. And you'll find out that it's bullshit here. Like people saying, oh, Rolo's going to get divorced pretty soon, or he's in financial trouble, because you took the time. And this is not like that. I expect that from guys who are idiots. I expect that from guys who hate me, who are OCD about hating me. I expect that. Okay. I'm okay with that. It's when new guys come in and parrot back those exact same words. I mean, the exact same language. And I go, well, I know where you got that from. And I know you're an even bigger idiot, because you're taking that as gospel from a guy who is also a cult of personality idiot. So that tells me that you are like, who's the bigger fool? The fool or the fools who follow him? Who's the bigger troll? The troll or the troll who's trolling him?
Well, it's never impartial, is it? It's never impartial. No. But here's something about this. The thing about scamming, right? What would a scam actually be? I mean, how can you write books and be a scammer? Is it like what? You order the Rational Mail and then you get it and there's only one page or something? You know, I mean, like how can it be a scam?
You open the book, it says you're fucking beta.
Yeah. that would be a scam. Or you buy John's course and there's like no videos and he doesn't do any of the webinars or anything. That would be a scam. But if that happened, if anybody was actually seriously scamming, then it would be all over the fucking internet. Yep. You know, it would be all over the place, because guys would just say, "Well, I bought one of Rollo's books, and it just said F you on all the pages." You know, it's a scam. I mean, like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't stand up.
I don't know, Troy. I think the big problem with us is,
if you get fuck files by Ryan Stone, it's just got a picture of somebody giving the finger all the way through.
Dude, that's not a bad idea. But you guys have these big hearts, and I know I'm fluffing you a bit here, but here's the problem: is because these guys are walking off a cliff, and they're trying to take as many people with them, and they're going, and you're trying to talk them out of it. And I know we keep saying fuck them, and I know it's fuck, really fuck them.
Let them burn.
I have a lawyer friend back home, and he has this wonderful thing he does where there's like the other law firm that's in town, and if he gets problematic clients that he hates, he actually refers them to the other office to like fuck over their business. I don't mind that these guys are here. They want to do whatever the fuck they want to do. They wanted to call me an asshole or whatever. If you get the kind of client who thinks I'm an asshole, take them off my hands. Because when I first got here and I was doing consults and I was charging like $50 a pop because I thought that was all it was worth, those were the clients I got, was those guys. And they are the biggest, and no offense to the audience, not you guys, them, biggest piece of shit clients I ever had. They bitch, they argue, they completely disregard everything you say, and then they come back again saying, hey, I disregarded everything we talked about in our last call, and everything you said happened is happening now. Now what do I do? And then you're like, okay, so you're basically giving me money so I can watch you fuck up your life in slow time. And I'm not going to lie, my mental health is not worth $50 an hour. But, like, fuck them. They have to learn the lesson the hard way. They want you to tell them what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. They want to believe that anybody who doesn't believe what I believe is a scammer, because there's no possible way what I'm doing isn't the best way to do things. You just want to give them the red-pilled seal of approval to do whatever the fuck you were going to do anyway. Go give, I mean, who are we shitting on now? Greg Adams? Like, fuck that guy. go give Coach Greg Adams $59.95 to go take his how to
keep going. You're doing good.
How to get laid on teaching girls volleyball team or whatever the fuck his thing is, and you go fuck it up, and then you go sulk and be mad about it, and then when you're ready, come on back. We'll tell you a little bit about how to fuck a 4 finally when you haven't fucked in 2 years. I'm fine with the process. The part that gets me is like with the call out videos. It's basically the guy saying, I get no clout, and so could you give me some brand, please?
Amen.
But it's,
Amen.
and it's like such a weird value proposition. A guy is demanding you help him build your brand, and he's giving you nothing in return. That's why I don't engage in that like as little as possible. Like the John Anthony one, I think, what is he called? My Wife Ugly. And I'm going, who the fuck are you that I'm going to give you any of my clout, you big fat fuck? You know? But like, there's like a weird meta red pill lesson in here in that you're not like everybody. You say, what's this? What's in it for me? What's the value for me when it comes to women, when it comes to jobs? Get yours, get out, leave the place better than you found it. General principles. And then you get these guys who are saying they're red pilled, but they're doing the exact opposite. They're basically leeches. And I think it's a wonderful lesson as long as you don't watch too much of it because it's fucking brain rot. No offense, John's show's entertaining, but you know, not my cup of tea, but you guys love it.
Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah.
Ryan, you just gave him a 12-minute video by calling him a fat fuck.
Blame the fucking 3 a.m. Denny's menu. It's not my fucking fault.
You are, but what am I?
Well, he's got the receipts, hasn't he? So
if he wants to talk about receipts, he's more than welcome to come down here. We'll hook up a meeting, and he and I can talk about it. And we'll see how that goes.
That requires money, which he doesn't have.
I will pay for him to come down here if that's the issue.
Waiting for him at the
I have been dying to have a personal conversation with him ever since he started talking shit about my wife, so I'm more than happy to pay for it.
Oh yeah, I'd really love to have a personal conversation with some of these people.
and if he believes it enough to say it to my face, then I guess he believes it. But you know, whatever.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it when I get challenged to debates. I'm like, okay, what do we do? What's the topic? What do you disagree with me about?
You're an asshole is always the topic.
You need to debate face an LMS. You need to debate this guy, or you need to debate Stedman or whatever. It's like,
why?
Debating? What's the topic? Never have a topic. Never have a topic.
You're an asshole is the only topic.
But they just want to see. This is the thing. They want to see blood sports, don't they? That's what it's all about. They don't give it. They don't even care who would win the debate or
they just
whatever.
want to chimp out in the live chat. That's all they want to do.
Money hand over fist while they chimp out.
Yes. What about self-actualization though? I mean, what about like being cheesy for a minute? What about being your own hero rather than following some dork on the internet who's a fat bastard?
I
mean, surely
it's all about.
Surely surely that's the end game of all of this.
So wait a minute, are you recommending that these guys be their own mental point of origin?
What?
They fucking grow up. It used to be called growing up. It used to be called growing up, but like everybody forgot how to do that.
Troy, I'll jump in here real quick. It's like what they say is I forget where this comes from, but it's like great minds talk about ideas, mediocre minds talk about things, and like small minds talk about people.
Yep.
At the end of the day, at the end of your life, I mean, you're going to be remembered for your ideas, not for the people you took down, not for being like, not for talking. You won't be remembered for who you talked about, or even the things you discussed. You'll be remembered for the ideas. You want to make a dent in the universe. It's about ideas. I've always said this is like there's idea guys, there's salesmen, and then there's the money guys, right? When you want a successful business, it takes those three things. Unfortunately, what we're trying to do is we're trying to cram all those guys into one dude right now and say, okay, you got to be the best salesman, you got to have the most money, and you got to have the best ideas right now. And a lot of people just simply aren't cut out for that. And there's really nothing wrong with that. It's just like guys like me, I consider myself an idea guy. When I go on and I do my show, I try to like remove myself from this and talk about whatever the idea is. All my books, ideas. All the stuff that I write about on my blog, ideas. I'm not trying to tear anybody down. And even when I do, like, if I talk about Candace Owens or I talk about something, I'm trying to do a sort of a breakdown video of something. I'm not talking about the person. I make this clear every time I do this. I say standard caveat. This is not putting these people on blast. I want to know why they think the way that they think. Like when Fresh and Fit have all these girls on there and they start putting them on blast and, oh, she got roasted. Everybody gets wrapped up in that. I'm like, why? How did she come to that idea? How does she think like, oh, who hurt you? Why did you say that? Why is that something that's just jumps instinctively to your lips when you've run out of ideas? I'm trying to figure those things out where everybody's like, well, Rollo's not tearing them down. He's not throwing rocks at him. He's not like spitting hate at him and fire and everything. I was like, no, I'm trying to figure this person out because I'm more interested in the ideas that they're throwing out here that we just take for granted. Like the sky is blue. Okay, why did you say the sky is blue? Right? Let me figure that out. But it's about the ideas versus things versus people. And if the people start out, if they're trying to build a brand, if they're like a brand new channel on YouTube or whatever, and they're going, let me tell you why Rollo Tomassi is wrong. Okay. I'm interested in the ideas that you think are wrong, not that you're throwing rocks at Rollo Tomassi, right? I don't care about that. I want to know why I keep saying you want a debate between me and whoever is your team leader. Great. What's the idea that you disagree with that you think that we should debate? That's what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on whether or not this guy's drunk in Denny's. I don't give a shit about that. If maybe that's him as in that's his character. Okay, fine. What's his ideas? His ideas are shit. Okay, well, then what do we have to talk about? Nothing. So you're going to be remembered for being this drunk fuck wandering around the streets of Vegas. And I'm going to be remembered for 4, possibly 5 books that I've written about ideas in at the end of my life.
Drunk fat fuck. Get it right.
I'm not a drunk. Let me tell you why.
That's another 45-minute video.
45-minute video. You should get more meat there, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been on for an hour and 45, so I guess it's about time we started to wrap up. But has anyone got any final thoughts? I mean, how do we pull all this together as far as actionable advice is concerned?
Start having intimate conversations with guys from about 400 meters and 2 loopholes.
Cultivate critical thinking.
Shouldn't say that on the internet.
Yeah, listen. To be all serious, okay? Be serious. It's like this. Look, here's how you figure out if somebody's worthy or not, okay? You follow their content and their content only for 3 months, and you apply the lessons in their content during the 3 months. And if you do not have the results that you want in those 3 months, or you're not happy with anything, then you move on and you continue this process. It does take work. I know a lot of people are like, well, I like to watch a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of that. And that's just the equivalent of multitasking. You're not going to get anything done. If you're serious, because there are guys watching us that are serious about getting their life together. Not all the people are losers, but a majority of these guys are, right? So that being said, for you guys out there that are serious, take one coach at a time, study his stuff, see if it resonates with you, see if it not only makes you feel good, but more importantly, does it bring forth the results that you're seeking in life? If it does, then you know that the guy is legitimate, and then you could consider buying a project or buying a course or getting part of his Patreon, whatever it is. Then you climb the value ladder to see if you can increase the quality of your life or not. Yeah, and this does take work, but like I said, statistically speaking, the majority of people are stupid. The majority of people are losers. The majority of people are poor. Literally in America, the majority of people are obese and overweight. If that's not a big enough red pill for you to take that in and consider it, then you're already fucked and there's no helping you. So do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, actually. I think, you've follow the free content. Focus on that one particular content creator that you resonate with for a period of time. Follow what they're saying. Try it out. See if it works for you. I mean, that's what it comes down to, because we all put out free content. So, and that's another reason why this whole scam narrative is such a load of bollocks, because there's so much out there for free that everyone puts out that you can test out yourself. It's not like somebody's forcing you at gunpoint to buy $1,000 course or something. It's just not like that.
Yeah. I think too, just to add a little small thing to, we're talking about things like receipts, blah blah, whatever. Find out what's going to make you happy. I mean, that's what makes it. I don't tell people
you want to be
what. Yeah, I'm not sitting here like, hey, you have to live your life like this, like the way that I run my women, my relationships. This is what you got to do. This is the way. No, you figure out your own way. What do you want? And of course, independent of necessity and scarcity mindset, of course. Really, if you could wave a magic wand and there weren't any obstructions, how would you want your life to be designed? How would you want things to look with the women in your life? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the POA thing and stuff. And then decide which direction you want to go to, right? Because some guys do want to be some guys want to be in that monogamous, Christian marriage. And that's, or Muslim marriage. I've had quite a few Muslim clients actually. And that's their paradigm. That's what they want. It's not up to me to tell them, oh, you're doing it wrong, bro. You gotta bang hoes. Like, no, you do what you want, and you graduate. You gravitate towards the people that are going to help you get there and that are interested in helping you get there, rather than being a cult of personality and showing you how cool they are.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah. Sorry, I've lost my thread now, but yeah, bang on, mate. Bang on.
You scammer. You lost your train of thought.
And to be fair, Troy, after listening to this 90 minutes here, I'm almost thinking we should go sign up to John Anthony's course. It sounds like he knows what he's doing. His sales pitch is great. I think you guys could do a lot worse in your life than signing up to Fat Fuck Seduction or whatever. I'd say go for it. No, every one of them is right. All these arguments, I've heard your guys' side, I've heard our side, I've heard their side.
He's weighed it all up. He's weighed it all up carefully, and he's come out. No, I think the fat guy. It's not over till the fat guy sings. Well, he's singing, and so let's buy his course.
Third world pickup. Vela pickup.
Third world.
I'm just saying, at this point, it's a layup, guys. Like, we shouldn't have to sell it. It sells itself.
Yeah. But Paul makes a really great point about what, and again, we come back to the same thing again, because Rollo's saying this as well. What do you actually want? And certainly in the dating niche, a lot of guys, let's say Julian Blanc, Tom Serrero, to some extent, has got a very high lay count. All these different characters. Yeah. Would you? All of these people, they present themselves as like, yeah, I'm a player, and that's my thing, and that is their thing, and that's fine. But the reality is, in my experience, a lot of the audience actually they just want to meet some nice girl and do whatever, and that may not be right for some of us, but none of us can say that that's wrong. If that's what they want, that's what they want. And they just need to learn the skills so they can get to that point and fine. So it's not like everybody has to become Giga Chad or even to pretend to be that. That's not what this is about. It's about incrementally improving your skill set one little piece at a time. And with that, what's that? With that, we are sort of coming up to the end of the show. So should we close it out now? So if we go around the panel, if you guys just want to say any final thought and then just tell people where they can find you, what you got coming up, etc., etc. So let's take it to John Fitch.
Yeah, johnfitch.net. Sign up for the newsletter. I'm working on a 12-minute cardio course. Should have shot everything. So put that.
John Anthony, sign up for that.
Yes, John Anthony should definitely sign up for it.
Shit, I'll sign up for that one.
I'm looking for because I don't train as much as I used to, so I'm not burning as many calories per day as I used to, and I want to stay lean. And lifting alone, it hasn't been enough, so I know I got to start doing some cardio again. So I want to do as minimal cardio as possible. So I'm doing my 12-minute bike routine. So I'm making a course of it too, so that everyone can see what that is. But 1 to 3 times a week, 12 minutes in and out, get it done.
Nice.
Get jacked.
Bit like my sex life. And now, Ryan Stone.
Guys, I'm keeping it simple. I got the second channel that's going. I'm doing like gaming there, Tekken, Minecraft. We just do more casual shit. That's fun. Digital Ryan, come check it out. Practical Female Psychology. It's on Sundays now. I'm basically focused on this. I'm treating the red pill in the same way that lawyers treat legalese. Just showing you guys what's been out there, what's been in the past, almost like a library of Alexandria, whatever. It's like a big library. Big smart storage stuff. It's AWS's cloud services. But yeah, just get in there. Take the knowledge yourself. It's a toolbox. Take it. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you follow me, but you're gonna learn what the fuck people did before me. So just get in there and check it out. And buy fuck files if you like it. And one of these days, I don't know, maybe John Anthony will want to come down. We can do it in a live podcast. But other than that, I got nothing for you.
Good stuff, man. And Rollo.
Yeah, sign up for my new course. It's get out of a divorce. It's going to be my 30-minute cardio special, and let's see, gunsmithing. How to bring down your AR-15.
Damn it, he took my next course.
You'd be amazed how many people will probably sign up for that too. No, I'm kidding. I got my show tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll be talking about ideas. How's that? I saw some questions in the chat. I'll just throw these out there real quick. When's book 5 coming? Dude, I have book 4 out, and it's only been out for like less than 4 months. please go pick it up. It is The Rational Male Religion. It is not just about religion. People keep saying, "Oh, I don't want to read it because he's going to be shitting on my religion, or he's going to be shitting on atheist." And I'm not neither actually. You'll get a lot out of it. The audiobook is in the works right now. Sam Bada has assured me it will be done by the end of May. So that's our new target date right there. So keep an eye out for that. If you're not on my mailing list, I'm actually collecting a mailing list right now because I am actually, in fact, writing a fifth book on game, but about the mechanics of game, not so much like the practicality of it, but why game works, why it should work, what are all the techniques? Because I don't think there's a really kind of like I won't call it an encyclopedia, but like sort of like a reference manual, like a player's handbook, right? For game. If that's the case, then that's what I'll be writing. So I have the outlines already done. People were asking me about that. Like, when's it going to come out? Help! If I put it out by August, would then I be a grifter? Or if I waited until January of 2022, would that make me more legit? I don't know. I could whip it out really quickly, but I don't want to whip it out real quickly because that would be whipping it out real quickly.
You're talking about dicks.
Yeah, I'm talking about
dicks.
Yeah. So I do have the outline done. I have decided that I am going to do it though. So just maybe there's some good news on that. So that's me.
Good stuff. John?
There's 727 people on the waiting list for the Masculine Empowerment Network. We go live on Thursday. And so what it is you'll be able to get 60 Zoom coaching sessions with the group, and that is a minimum of 2 hours per session. We're building a forum to replace the Roosh V forum since he's lost his mind. And so it'll be censorship-free forum where you can post lay reports, infields, body progress change. We're covering the big three: money, muscles, game. We're going to talk about everything. We're also going to give you Body Language Mastery, the course as well, because I've had such strong demand for that to come back. So you'll get Body Language Mastery as well, 100% for free. Also, you'll get over 200 hours of the previously recorded sessions that we have done. That is all protected and trademarked and copyrighted, so you're safe under that. And in addition to that, you get one full calendar year until the end of this calendar year worth of Telegram group chat coaching, all for the low price of $697. So go right here to Masculine Empowerment Network, get on the waiting list, and then this Thursday it goes live. You can only enroll for 5 days. After the 5 days, enrollment is closed. You can't get in. You lose access to all my team of experts, including Charlie from cultivatecrypto.com. And then you'll have to wait another 3 months to get in because the classes do start live on May 5th. So go to masculineempowermentnetwork.com right now. Get on the waiting list, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Great stuff, mate. And Paul, what you got coming up?
Well, get on the site if you need to book a consult. That's apexmindset.net. That'll guide you to getting on an email list as well. Producing, I don't know what I'm going to actually name it yet, but people in the space will understand what frame is. So I'm in the process of producing that course. Hope to have that out here in about a month or so, and have that course out. It'll be like dropping 3 modules and then Zoom calls during the week to, tweak everybody's, situations and get them going in the right direction. So that's it. Oh, and also Unplugged Alpha tomorrow on Stereo. I'll be on with Rich Cooper. So if you get on the Stereo app and look for Unplugged Alpha podcast, we'll be hanging out at 9 a.m. tomorrow and chopping it up.
Great stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, please just hit subscribe to the channel. Give me a subscribe, give me a like, drop a comment in the comment box below. Thumbs down if you want, thumbs up, whatever you want, helps with the algorithm. I'm going to be on here next week doing live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I've got some quite big guests coming up, so it's pretty exciting. And if you want to read more of my writing about game, then grab Renegade Dating Blueprint, which is my collection of 11 titles on dating game and the dating marketplace. There is a link to it below. It's only $39, so it is a bargain. And also, people keep asking me about audiobooks, and I am in the process of recording some of these with Mr. Jack Napier, who has a very beautiful European voice. And we've got a very exciting package coming up for you guys very soon. So look out for that as well.
They want
What the hell is that?
That's what happens when you sign up for the Masculine Empowerment Network.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, on that slightly disturbing note, let's
a crying
let's
Asian.
let's close out the show. It's been great to see everybody. Thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks to those people who are watching on the replay as well. We will see you again next week, and I think it's on Rollo's channel, isn't it? Next week.
Dude Party is going live here in like 20 minutes on my channel. We're talking about Pimp Game 101. Come see us.
I'll see you guys at Dude Party.
See you guys soon. Bye-bye.